Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and today we have another new Tucson, the Tucson TS245. Now, we'll go into the negatives towards the end, but I know a lot of you were kind of worried that I was kind of done with Tucson, and that's not the case. It's just, my most recent purchases were kind of negative, and like this one, I had a horrible experience with this one, even though I love the profile, I love everything about it so much, aside from how it is. It's got really bad detent lash. It feels really weird, closing, and it just, I didn't like it. So I decided to back off just a little bit, give them a little bit of time, but we're back. So this is the Tucson TS245, and I am going to bring up a couple other ones here in a second because I want to go into that, what I was just talking about here in 1 second. But this one has D2 steel and a beautiful hollow grind, nice and thin behind the edge. It's actually about 20 thousandths behind the edge, but it is a nice broad hollow grind. So this thing has amazing cutting geometry, amazing. Even though it's not like mega thin behind the edge, it's thin going up the blade. So it's going to slice and pass through materials extremely well and without sacrificing toughness. So it's going to be an edge that, especially even like the tip is nice and acute. It's going to work great for utility cuts, except for it's not going to be fragile, but it's going to be extremely slicey. I love the geometry on this blade. Then you have a titanium frame lock, somewhat of a bolster lock because it does have these micarta inlays. Now we have a full geared or full jimped back spacer. And then you can see the jimping riding up the spine because it allows you to get up nice and close to that edge. Let's talk about this action. So we have a reverse flicking notch that is nice and sharp. I mean, this thing is catchy. Then you have this beautiful front flipper. This front flipper works so good. The angle of it and how it's jimped all the way around, this thing gives you basically like the ultimate platform and leverage point to top flip. You have so much leverage, and the detent is extremely well tuned for a front flipping action. It's not overly strong. It's exactly how you want a front flipper. I mean, this thing will snap out every time, and I don't think many people are going to have any problems with it. I mean, you can see how I can reach even from way back here. I can reach over and snap it open. Now, the reverse flicking hole lands perfect spot. Bang. And like I said before, the detent is extremely well tuned for the reverse flick and top flipping action. If it was, it's somewhat of a lighter detent, I would say, but that's what you want when you have these two types of deployments. You don't need a stiff detent like you would need for a flipper. So works great. And no detent lash, thank goodness. You can slow roll this all the way open because the front flipper does give you, it sticks out enough to where you can follow it all the way around and lock it up. Now, access to the lock bar, really good. Nice and soft, nice and knocked down, feels very comfortable. Easy to get past the detent. The detent is a little bit late, but no, let me be clear. The detent is in an okay spot. However, they put a detent ramp on there. This isn't that big of a complaint, so I'll just say it now. I wish they wouldn't have put a ramp on there because then I would already be past the detent. Now it takes all the way to there to get past the detent, for the detent to get up on the blade when you unlock it, because there's a detent ball right there. And in order for that to get up on the blade, it has to get past that ramp. And you can see the ramp right, come on, focus. You can see this little tiny cut right here. There's like a little notch, and that is, it's a good thing, but it can be a negative thing. Basically what it does is it prevents you from ripping out your detent ball when you unlock your knife. As it hits it and goes past, sometimes you'll notice like some detents won't have a ramp, and when you push past it'll slam shut, almost like it has a detent on the way closed. That's because the ball's trying to get up on the tang of the blade. And a ramp helps you smoothly get the detent up on the blade, but it can make it to where you're getting past it it's a much bigger gap. But if they just don't put a ramp there, then you can easily get past it nice and fast. But in this case, it's pretty easy to get past because it doesn't have a flipper, so you can just let it drop all the way. Right there is where the detent is, so it's pretty easy to get past. Now, ergos. Ergos are pretty comfortable, especially because you have this choke up spot that's very comfortable and allows you to get nice and tight to that edge. I really like that. This is a very comfortable grip. I can easily, very comfortably reverse grip this. The pinch grips are good. The only one issue is, the clip does stick up a little bit when you're back here, but that's when I'm back here, and, it is what it is. Now, very smooth, very false shutty, or drop shutty. Now let's talk about a couple little negative things. So, the one negative thing is they put this little hoop thing down here for the lanyard. I don't like that. I know it's basically to protect yourself from touching the tip because the tip is right there, and if not for that, I would be able to touch it. But, I say just make the blade a little tiny bit shorter and take that out. You could easily cut this out and do that yourself. But I do like that there's T8 hardware all the way around. I should have said that. T8 hardware all the way around. Love to see that. More negative things, though. Let's talk about these negatives. It did come kind of gritty out of the box, and a lot of Tucsons come like that. And, some knives just come like that, period. But Tucson kind of has a little track record where some knives are extremely, extremely smooth, and it's like, man, it seems like Riet did this. And then other ones come, and it's like, man, why is this thing so gritty? And it's just the detent ball breaking into the satin finish. You see how we have a satin finish? Well, the detent ball has to break through that and basically make a track. And with this one, when I first opened it, it did feel kind of gritty. And so I, played with it for a couple days, and now it's broken in pretty nicely. It's a lot smoother. Like, it still has a little bit left to go, but it is 10 times better. Now, the next thing, this clip, pretty obnoxious. It sticks up a lot right here, and it's almost like a what's it called? It's like a diving board. And I can kind of feel that in my hand compressing a little bit. Up here, it's not too bad, but I still do feel it. It's just, it's a big, obnoxious clip. I don't think they should have put that ramp up so high. That's definitely a negative. I can get past it and it's just fine, but I'd rather it be bent down farther, which I could probably do myself if I really tried. But anyways, next, the micarta is crap. They might as well just put G10 because this is not good micarta. This is like the crappiest of crappy micartas. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal because, it's not like their micarta in this case is trying to be a showpiece or anything. But better quality micarta would have made it look a lot better. But it just kind of looks like G10. So it's not that big of a deal. I guess if it was G10, it would look basically the same. So next thing, I don't like this pivot collar. I think that's just obnoxious with the words all the way around it. I've noticed lately Night Morning Designs has been doing that. So this is probably going to be one of my last Night Morning Designs I'll probably buy. At least the ones that come with these pivot collars. I just don't like them. They drive me nuts. I think they're ugly as hell. And, I just don't want it. So I'll just probably stick away from those ones. The plunge grind is actually pretty decent. I'm not going to complain about it at all because they did give you something to sharpen off, and then after you're done sharpening this piece off, you'll be able to just sharpen up the blade, kind of like a Spyderco. So I'm actually very happy with the way they did that. All in all, I like it. I do like it. There is a lot of nitpicks here, and this goes back to what I was saying. Like with this one. This one came like crap, and I just noticed like some of the Tucsons that I've been getting lately, or at least the most recent ones, have been pretty crappy. Now, I've gotten some really good ones, like this one. This one's awesome. I love this one. I think it's the 300, the TS300. awesome Tonto, super thin hollow ground, very acute points on the Tonto. It came right out of the box, very smooth. None of that real grittiness or anything like that. I'm very happy with this one. My Tucson TS223. I absolutely love this knife. I've got a couple of them, and just an awesome knife. Again, you guys seen the other day, I got the new TS129. This is my older one. M390. Beautiful action. My new one did come a little bit gritty though. That's something I wish that they would deal with right from the factory before they send it out. It would just make their knives feel so much better. It's just the detemp. I don't know if they just need to polish off the satin where the detemp ball is gonna roll or what, but maybe knock it down a little bit or something, because the satin finish is so deep and so strong that it comes right out of the box, and it's, some of them are like zippers and some of them feel a little gritty, and I just think that, I think we should be past that. And I don't know if they're just pumping out knives so fast that they're skipping things and not really caring, because like I said, there was a few in a row that I got to try that I was like, man, what is going on with these guys? It's like they're almost falling off. So I don't know. But then again, a bunch of them have made me happy. So I don't know if it's just maybe some models, Tucson's like just kind of rushing out the door, or if it's the designers rushing to get them. I don't know. I have no idea. But I do know though that, I'm going to call it as I see it. And if they're kind of crapping the bed lately, I'm going to call it out. And I want them to make the best quality knives as possible. But, like before, where they would shock me, and I would see like so much value for the money, because the money would not be too expensive. It was a very good price, and you got premium materials, and the premium materials were done at a very high level. Now suddenly it just seems like you're still getting the premium materials, but then they're not put together as well. It's, even if the build is there, it's like there's little details that are ignored or just not done to the highest level they could be or have done before. Maybe it's just the few models I've tried. That could be the case. They put out so many models that maybe just some of them are not, that great. And maybe some, you just got to get the good ones. But it'd be better if all of them came good, and then you could just pick the design that looks good for you, because I've noticed there's some that I hate the design, but they are really good. Like the knives, like the build quality, the fit, the finish, the action, all the details are great, but I hate the design. And it's like I look at another one that I really like the design, and I say, dang it, I wish this one was as good as that one. But anyways, there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.